All right, here we go. We're going to be installing a water heater today. We're replacing this Bradford White. We're going to put in another Bradford White, and I'm going to do a step-by-step just to explain to you how I'm doing this. So first thing I'm doing is I'm running water through it. I have the water still on. I'm just trying to blow out the sediment in the bottom. While I'm doing that, I'm taking apart the gas pipes, taking apart the flues. Now I'm going to shut it off and open up the relief valve, and I'm going to let that drain for a little while. While I do that, I got to change this gas shut off to get it up to code, so I'm going to get it down to the gas shut off. I'm going to take it off, and basically I'm just going to put my finger on there. I'm not shutting the gas off or anything like that. Finger's going to stop gas, quarter pound of pressure. Get over it. Now I'm going to start setting the gas up the same way because it's going to be a Bradford White for Bradford White. That's the nice thing about those types of water heaters is they're pretty much the same. And this one wasn't draining very well, so I just brought it over to the sump pump, took the drain out of it. And this is definitely the fastest way to do it. If you could just start with that, that's going to be the quickest thing. It's also going to make it the lightest. Now, I took the relief valve pipe off of there, and I'm going to drag it out of the basement. Didn't feel like getting the hand truck out of my truck just yet. Now, while I'm at it, I'm going to go get the other water heater. I'm going to set it up. I have the thing sitting on like a brake rotor and some bricks. I'm not going to question the old system. It seemed to work. Now, I'm going to use Teflon tape and pipe dope, specifically Mega Lock and Mega Tape. And I'm going to put the females right to the nipples. If you're using dielectric unions or brass, you're an elitist prick. I'm sorry I don't make the rules. I just enforce them. Once I got the water on, I get the air out of it. And I'm going to work on the rest of it. So now I got to do some gas pipe. I got a little bit of a difference between the old length of the first nipple and the new one. So I just measured it with my thumb. Thumb tip to knuckles about 1 inch. And then I have 1 inch of threads. So 2-inch nipple did the trick. I pulled the flues out before. They were real type of loose inside of the chimney, so I decided I was just going to replace the flues too. This is the easiest part of the job. And I threw some new furnace cement around both of the openings, the boiler and the water heater. Now we're going to light the pilot. Don't bother getting on your ass to do it. Just wait for the green light to come on and then turn her on. And there you go, ladies and gentlemen. Brand new water heater. See you on the next one. All right, here we go. We're going to change a supply line and a valve and a fill valve and a flapper. I had a bunch of other stuff I was doing at this house too, but this was the only thing that I filmed. In a similar video, I changed out a solid supply for a flexible supply, and I played one of my voiceovers from another video where I said, here's how you make $500 in 15 minutes. And I posted it on Facebook, and I've been getting basically like death threats over it, which is pretty much par for the course when you're young, handsome, and rich like me. But the thing that really pissed me off was that I had posted another similar video on Facebook, and I put something on the caption like, I'm going to keep beating a dead horse, something like that. You know, the old saying. And I got flagged and demonetized for 7 days. Which, if you don't know this by now, I make a pretty substantial income on social media. Which I'll be fine without the money for 7 days. Trust me, I'll be okay. But anyway, long story short, I know that we all don't agree on everything all the time. We get in our little disagreements, and we go back and forth, and sometimes we hate to love each other, love to hate each other, you know? But we always work it out in the end. But if there's one thing that we can all agree on, and if we can all come to the same conclusion as a community, it's, fuck Mark Zuckerberg. Pansy-ass fucking billionaire bitch. All right, here we go again. I had somebody in my comments tell me that ProPress and PEX were for handymen and homeowners, so I did what any rational person would do with such a staunch criticism. I sold my house. Because I wouldn't be caught dead looking like a homeowner. No, but seriously, I don't understand what the big buzz around this is. Like, am I supposed to believe that this is a skill that nobody could do? Am I just supposed to believe that taking much longer to produce the same product is somehow better? Because I'm not really sure I'm buying it. Actually, the only reason that I decided to sweat this job is because somebody else had started it, and now he's been calling out with food poisoning, and I wanted to take a nice long time to make sure that he had plenty of work when he got back. I don't want him to miss out on the opportunity to do this job, you know? It's a really fun one, and he deserves it. Now look, check it out. I even gave Josh, he's a second-year apprentice, I even gave Joshy the torch. I said, you can go ahead and sweat the last of these joints here. And he was real nervous. He cried for like an hour. Like full-on man sob, you know? And did he do a good job? Sure, it doesn't leak. That's all I was asking for out of him. And here we go. Here's the finished product. We got some pipes. Look, these are pipes. Have you seen pipes before? Look, there's some pipes. There's some pipes there. And if we go over here, there's some pipes. And if we go in here, we got some more pipes. We could use a couple more straps, but there's pipes. Look at that. All right, here we go. It's time to fix some leaking ProPress tees. Now, this was just recently installed by one of our guys. He put in this whole bypass, and he had actually called me when he was on the job and said that these tees seemed a little funny and that he could not get the pipe inside of them. And I told him, do not use those tees. But, of course, instead, he called the boss. The boss told him, just hammer them in. See, because I don't know if you've ever heard of something like this, but my boss, he likes to save as much money as he possibly can. And I think a lot of people would say, well, that makes him a good businessman. But to me, the employee, it makes me feel like I have this weird kind of parasite. It's kind of like that dream where you're running, and you never go anywhere. But that's just every day of my life with this fucking guy. I mean, ultimately, all of those teas had to be sent back to the supply house because we really came to the conclusion that, yeah, you can't use them. But if you really think about it, if we only installed, 50 of them, he probably still saved money. I think. I don't know. We'd have to do the math on that. I mean, think of it like this. If you save $1 on each tea, and then you only have to replace 48 of them, that's only another $4,000. I mean, shit, that's just business, baby. All right, here we go. Let's do a job sold by a fucking idiot. Now, if you're a full-time installer at a company that has salesmen, you're probably used to this. Now, we got to do a tankless water heater and a condensing furnace. And we got to get vents into this attic terminated to outside. And there's been a debate about where that attic actually is. Did you notice that I walked downstairs? In fact, the guy told me this morning that I would just need a 6-foot ladder and I could put it on the fascia board right next to the dryer vent. Yeah, 6 foot, right there next to the dryer vent. Do you think he went into the attic to check? Hell no. So, okay, now we got to do what we always do. We got to regroup and come up with a new plan. In the meantime, I called him out to come and check the job out so I could bitch at him. And I started cutting a hole out so that I could put the board for the Renai recessed because I thought it would look nicer. And it did. It looked a lot nicer that way. But as you're going to see, everything on this job just turns into a major kick in the balls. So anyway, I came up with a plan. I found this dormer on the top of the building. And I can access it from the attic, so I'm going to do a sidewall termination on the side of that dormer. I don't really want to go on top of that roof, but I'm going to go on top of that roof anyway. Here's the window from the inside. A lot of people will call me pussy for not wanting to go on that roof. I don't like roofs. I don't like heights. It's just not my thing. And I went out there anyway, and I drilled the holes for the termination, and I was breathing heavy the whole time. I was terrified. All right? It's okay to be scared of things. But after I got the termination in, I did a little bit of the piping. I drilled it down, got it into the attic. I couldn't spend too long in the attic because it was way too hot up there. And as I was doing that, I started doing the gas. And the only saving grace on this was that the gas was really easy. It was just right there. I had, the proper size pipe, and I could just pop my piece in there. No problem. I had the other guy doing the water while I was in the attic because he was too fat to get in there. Then this happened.
Yo, shut the water.
Okay.
Apparently we dripped it into... So I've heard it hissing from here.
Well, as it turned out, I put a screw through a pipe, and I didn't know how I did that because I thought I was right onto the beams and there was nail plates there. But here's the downstairs apartment. He was less than ecstatic, to say the least. But look at that. Nail plate, screw right through the nail plate. Like it was nothing, dude. Like it didn't even exist. Right through. So we put the unit back on the wall and came back the next day because you can't just keep going after that. And finished up the vents. They were a huge pain in the ass. Took another full day to do these vents. We have 2 vents for the furnace, 2 vents for the tankless water heater. Now look at this. This is how we had to do this. I'm going to show you. So you come down from the attic. I'm the only one that was able to get into the attic throughout the course of this entire job. We go down into this chase. This chase goes down into the ceiling. All right. From there, it goes downstairs. We're going to go around to the utility room. And it's going to come back through the ceiling there, go to the tankless, then we got the vents for the furnace. So this is done. Next step's going to be the 96%er, all right? See you on the next one. All right, we got problems and solutions with a Renai tankless water heater. This one is running a code 14, which is a code for a thermal fuse. And remember that beep. First thing we're going to do is locate the thermal fuse wiring harness. We got this white wire and then this red and white wire plug. We're going to disconnect the white wire plug. We're going to leave the red and white plugged in. We're going to jump out from the white wire to the white wire. That's going to test our thermal fuse. After that, we're going to run it and see if the code still exists. Waiting for that beep. Yep. So now we're going to take the board out because we're going to have to test it at the board to see if the harness is bad. You can see that these are all the plugs that are on there. And basically what we're going to do is we're going to take a jumper. We're going to jump from the first pin on this one to the 8th pin. It's either going to be a white and a white or a red and a white. And if that doesn't work, then we have to change the board. So we changed the board on this one because that didn't work. And here we are. After the board comes in and we put it in.
You got hot water? Good.
Anyway, see you on the next one. Here we go, guys. It's Friday. This is a perfect job for a Friday. All I'm doing is putting in these louvers and these air openings, cutting them in inside. And we're going to milk this shit. Because You know what? Air openings do not leak at 4 o'clock on a Friday. Now, if you haven't been following me and paying attention to what I'm doing, first off, fuck you. Second off, welcome. But this is the same job where we put in a commercial water heater for a laundromat, we put in a 100-gallon heater, it's 199,000 BTUs, and then came to find out that there was no air openings. And we came to find that out by having to replace the parts on it because they all burnt up because flames were pouring out the side of the water heater. So I guess this message is really for like sheetrockers, builders, contractors alike. If you see one of these air openings in a situation like this, do not fucking cover it. You need a certain amount of air for combustion. If you're burning, gas, propane, oil, any of it, you need air. How much air, you ask? Well, that's a great question. So, for every 1,000 BTUs, you need 50 cubic feet of air. And that number, and I was having a discussion with somebody about this the other day, is based off of 35% air changes per hour in the room. Somebody was saying that it was 25% per their code now, but I don't know. I thought that these numbers were based off of science and not politics. But I believe in the day and age that we live in that most people think that science and politics are the same thing. Anyway, back to the numbers. So when you're adding louvers for fresh air, you want to have one above, one below, and your total free area. So basically, the louvers take up a certain amount of space, so the whole thing does not count as free area. Your total free area needs to be 1 square inch per 1,000 BTUs. And there you go, ladies and gentlemen. Now you're smarter than the average bear. Pick up a book sometime. There's charts on this stuff. You can learn a lot. Here's the job all done. We didn't go so nice with the sheetrock, but who cares? Anyway, see you on the next one. Well, since you guys love the warranty work so much, here's another warranty job for you. This was a repair that was done by us actually in 2017. And the guy who did it, when he put it in, basically the customer was having problems with it kind of like every year since then. Now, the only reason that he didn't say anything or force anybody to do anything is because he's friends with the boss and he didn't want to have to put that responsibility on him. Which I kind of had to step in and say, listen, this is fucked up. This is your friend. He's a nice guy. If this was some screaming idiot that was acting like a piece of shit that we hated, we would have already done it. So that's a whole conversation of a whole nother code of ethics thing that we could get into. But I personally don't like treating shitty people well and good people like shit. Plus, I knew the guy who did this job in the first place, and I've done countless numbers of his callbacks, and they're always big ones like this. When he fucks up, he goes big with it. Plus, the excavators that he was using at that time were jerk-offs. I hated those guys, and they were always in a rush to get out of there. So they probably hit the pipe with the bucket, and, maybe they covered it up. Maybe they didn't even know about it, but that's definitely what happened. But on a lighter note, I got a call from the gym today saying that I won a raffle. I won like a Yeti cooler and some other stuff. It's pretty sweet. I just want to make a point of that for all the people that say, like, oh, karma's going to get you in my other videos. Like, they don't even fucking know me, bro. I give good, I get good. Plus, I have, by and large, the sickest mohawk around town. I'm like a big rooster or something. So check it out. We got this all together, and I put this Fernco on there. This is an asbestos cement by PVC Fernco. And I worked really hard to get a bunch of copper and stuff into the dirt. I shoved a bunch of copper pipes inside of there. I'm just trying to inhibit the root growth. I wrap the copper pipe around the edge, and then I'm going to case the whole thing in cement. So I got Dave putting this bed in there, and I'm just going to cover that whole thing in concrete. And that's it. See you on the next one.